Welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Wanted to film a recap of today's trades because I got a lot of people asking me like, Justin, why were you long biased today? I took shorts today, ended up getting stopped. So I want to run you guys through my bias of today, and I ended up posting like on Instagram while in this trade because I knew that everybody was probably looking to take a short, and I was long biased, and we ended up catching a amazing long on the live session. And part of this video, I'll show you guys the recording from this morning of me actually taking the trade live. And then I want to run you guys through actually what the bias is and kind of just run you guys through the entire thought process behind this trade as well. So I'll show you guys the recording right now. We'll jump in, and then afterwards we'll dive into the actual analysis of this trade. So I'll see you guys then. Give a long stab. I'm going to do 2 cons, and then I might add to this. But pretty loose stop, and then I'll move it the more that we get. But this is a bigger time frame trade. That's why I'm taking 2 cons and having a looser stop, because I want to see us back to these highs. I think this SMT is going to get broke. It doesn't go. It goes against the draw. I like that we're back down in equilibrium of this range. This chart to me looks nice. We've got the big displacement in the morning, pulled back to equilibrium, internal SMT changing the state, and we're in the 15-minute inverse fair value gap. I'd want to see this get bought all the way back up to the highs. If we can get internal manipulation and then displacement or some sort of change in the state, then I'll add another contract. I really like this. I like the way that this bigger time frame looks. I like that we put in an SMT at these lower lows. All right, one more in this. I'm in full position now. I want to see this just get bought all the way back up again. I think this is literally just the market trapping shorts. We're like, oh my God, everybody's like, displacement to the downside, we're selling. I genuinely think this is a rebalance. Bigger time frame is so bullish to the fact that we rebalance back to equilibrium on the bigger time frame. Market ends up opening 10 a.m., pushes us higher. It takes out high or the internal high, sells us back off, taps equilibrium, internal SMT, tap the original change in the state, tap the original inverse fair value gap. Now, this SMT doesn't matter. Like, we still have an SMT here, but this SMT, in my opinion, done its job. Because the bigger time frame is so bullish, this SMT rebalances price back to equilibrium, and then now NQ most likely catches up, breaks through this high, takes out that SMT, and we end up flying to the upside is what I'd want to see. And I think ES also looks really good. Again, equal highs resting above. Like, tell me this is not bullish. This looks clean. I like how slow we are to rebalance right now. This is what you like to notice. The efficiency of price towards the upside and then the downside. We're kind of slowly rebalancing. We're not really sure what we want to do. We're not really sure if we want to sell off. It's because again, you'll notice when the draw isn't really lower, this is kind of how price will move. If we're lower, we're gonna dump like everything will get respected. Like, it should be quick. Right now, I just think this is a rebalance to see higher. Like, I just think this chart is due for a fat fucking up candle. A fat upside candle, I think, is due. I think it just, like, I could just see a fat candle come in here. It makes so much sense. Like, before you see a fat candle, does this not, like, this is about recognizing price action in the moment. No price action is formed yet. But if you were to guess just by looking at this chart, hey, oh my God, standard deviation, there's a change in the state, there's an SMT here, like, wow, it makes sense that a fat candle would come in right here. So when a fat candle does come in, you're going to be where did that come from? The market's algorithmic. Right now it's telling us. When we say be reactive, right now this is what reactive looks like. I can look at this chart and be like, wow, nothing is printed yet, but I can expect to see most likely a big move here. An efficient move. Why would it be an efficient move? Because it's in favor of the draw. We've rebalanced in the area in which we expect to reject. Right, this right here is like the holy grail of a model, right? When we look for a smart money reversal in a buy model, right, because this is a buy model, and we have our change in the state, we pull back to equilibrium, and we have an SMT in equilibrium, like, this is where we'd expect to see that next leg. I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to go live my life. All right. Oh my God, it's just so good. It's so easy. Oh my goodness. Let me get some W's in the fucking chat for such a great trade. This is like a 9K day, almost 10K day. Let me get some W's. Yes, sir. Great bias, good execution, good risk, good patience. And now the last part to end the day with the best. Right now is the last. People always forget about this. The most important part. This is the most important part to check it off as a good day, and it's getting the fuck off the charts. So, enjoy your day. Great trade. We'll talk tonight. Go over the bias and go over in the charting session, going over pretty much this entire trade. I'm going to film a recap, most likely today, and post it on YouTube as well. So. We'll let you guys know, and I'll update you guys when that is out. So, all right. So I want to dive further into actually this trade. We'll clear the chart up here and actually dive into what my bias was going into the day and pretty much every single trade that I took today. So I took 3 trades. First one ended up getting stopped. Second one ended up just a little scalp long, and then ended up taking longs later in the day and caught this whole entire move. So before going in open, this is what my chart looked like. I looked to the left of us. We're still holding bullish imbalance. Order flow the last couple of days has been bullish. When we look at the bigger time frame, we've had this bullish SMT that got put in on Sunday when we ended up having the gap down. ES ended up taking this low, so we had a bigger time frame SMT, and we've just been slowly kind of working our way up on the bigger time frame. So going into the morning, first thing I want to recognize is what happened in the overnight session. Well, we rebalanced back down to equilibrium of the previous price leg, right? The leg that recently got us from the recent lows to yesterday's high on Tuesday. Overnight session, we ended up pulling back into this bigger time frame inefficiency. 15-minute fair value gap gets ran through to the upside. We have a 15-minute change in the state. So boom, don't need to overcomplicate it. Changing the state on the 15-minute, displacing out of a 15-minute bullish imbalance, equal highs resting above on the bigger time frame, changing the state on the 15-minute. Okay, so now what I want to see going into open is I can still be bearish going in open because I could want to see a rebalance, but in the day, I'm bullish. So at open, market ends up pulling back, and this was the first trade that I ended up taking. So market pulls back. We ended up putting an internal SMT in. Once this high gets displaced, my bias and what I want to see the draw be at open is actually these relative equal highs here. On the 5-minute, we have this fair value gap here, and there's a 15-minute fair value gap here too. Now, the reason why I have this marked is because we have equal highs here. So going into open, I was looking for this to be the draw on liquidity, and I was looking to see if I could maybe scalp some sort of long because on the bigger time frame, I wanted to see us rebalance back to equilibrium before seeing a move higher. So I'm kind of see if I can just get a little bit of a scalp, and that's what I ended up taking. So on the 15-minute, market ends up coming back down. At this point, I end up taking my first little long stab. Once we came back, tapped the high that was displaced through, took a long, tight stop at the low, ended up getting stopped. As soon as this recent low got taken, I knew that this was most likely going to be a sweep. I re-entered long right here, just looking for new highs. I'm waiting. New highs end up getting taken. I'm pretty much all off here. And then at this point in time, SMT gets put in at the internal highs. And we start selling back off. So now what is happening here? Everybody's looking at this being like super bearish, SMT at the highs, rejection of the bigger time frame imbalance. We've had a change in the state to the downside. And yes, we have had that, but it doesn't align with the bigger time frame narrative. In the times in which I always see people fail and the times in which I always see people getting stopped is because the internal price action isn't aligning with the bigger time frame bias. So this is my biggest focus right now. The 15-minute, the 30-minute, the 1 hour, this is my bullish bias. I want to see all of this buy side become the draw on liquidity. So if I am seeing a bearish model internal that goes against what I'm looking for, what does that mean? It's most likely setting us up to rebalance price before going higher. So now, another big question I got is at this point in time, we had this SMT. So bigger time frame SMT gets put in. We're rejecting the imbalance. Bearish SMT. What happens on NQ? Moves back higher, takes the recent high, still SMT intact, and we end up selling back. Now, what are we doing on this move? Everybody's looking at this saying, bearish SMT, oh my God, we're so bearish, we're going back to new lows. But what are you not taking into account here? You're not taking into account that the bigger time frame is a buy model. What is the buy model? We're displacing out of a bigger time frame, 50-minute for value gap, changing the state on the 15-minute. We pulled back into the inverse, and now we're pulling back to discount. One of the biggest questions I got is about this SMT. How can you take a long with this SMT? Well, I want to ask you, what is the logistics of why this is in play? What is the market? What is the reasons why the markets move? Hunt liquidity, rebalance inefficiencies, rebalance equilibrium, generate liquidity. This SMT is only here to rebalance price. So when ES takes that high and NQ does not, yeah, we put in a bearish SMT. And the bearish SMT ends up playing out. We take the recent high and we end up selling off back to equilibrium because that's the only thing that the market is there to do. We only need to go back to equilibrium now because this low is protected. All the way back here, there's no reason for us to go back here. We've had our change in the state. We've ran through the inefficiency. We're displacing onto the inefficiency. The draw on liquidity on the bigger time frame is bullish, right? So when we come back down, this SMT, in my opinion, has done its job. This is still buy side in which I'm looking to get ran. I'm expecting this SMT to fail because it's already done its job. This SMT has now rebalanced price back to equilibrium of this previous price range. Now, what also ends up happening here? If we look over at ES ends up taking this internal low. NQ does not. So now we have a bigger time frame bullish bias. We're back at equilibrium. We're back at the change in the state. We're back at the inefficiency. And again, if you look at the 15-minute, this is so bullish. Like, you cannot look at this chart and tell me it's not bullish. Change of the state gets rebalanced to SMT to literally prove that this is internal manipulation. So once we're back at equilibrium, I immediately take a long. I jump in my starter position, stop at the recent low, and I'm waiting and I'm looking to add to this position. I end up adding this position right here when we get that tap back up. And then I also end up adding right here. So once we displace through the recent high, we pull back, I add to this position. And slowly but surely, again, patience, end up taking all off at this internal high. Now, very, very happy with today's price action. I won't make this video kind of too long. I just kind of wanted to go over this with you guys. But if you have any questions on these types of trades, I know I haven't been posting a lot recently, and I apologize. I have some stuff kind of going on. But I've been very, very picky and patient the last 2 weeks. I haven't really taken that many setups, so I'm very happy. The market will pay you. Do not think that you need to take a trade every single day. It is all a fabricated lie. And when you go on social media and you see all of these people winning, oh, this guy took a loss, this guy took a win, this guy took a win. Oh, I didn't take a trade or I took a loss. There's somehow means I'm wrong. No. Focus on high quality opportunity. You know what you're looking for. You don't need somebody else to tell you. It's either there or if it's not. You don't need to take a trade every single day. I've taken maybe 5 trades in the last 2 weeks, if that, and I'm only looking for high quality opportunity. Today, ended up coming in, took 5 contracts, scaled into it, looked beautiful, and I ended up getting paid for it. You do not need to take a trade every single day. I don't need to catch this entirety of this move. I take what I know, put on cons, good risk, and end up literally stepping away. And the most important part, and one thing that we were talking about on live today, is the most important part about trading is after the win, you hop off the fucking charts. So hopefully you guys enjoy this little breakdown. Again, wanted to just keep it super simple and just clean. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll hopefully get back to you and do a video soon on answering your guys' questions. But I'm up around 9K on the day. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.